Yo, look at that sky. Ooh wee. Anyways, Tizai, again, no tripod. It's a Monday night, whoo, and I'm recording a video. Listen to that Mother Nature. Anyways, Tizai, you already know who it is. It's your boy Whistly. I here have my jacket on my shoulders here. I don't know. Weapon seems to be pretty big, so I was like, let me review it. Let me not wait another week. Basically, I know it's like a hot ticket movie, basically. So, and it's a horror movie, and horror movies, there's not a lot of good horror movies. But anyways, I'm gonna be reviewing Weapons 2025. I don't know. Like, I think it's like, I think it is a movie worth watching. It was directed by Zach Krieger. I think he did a good job. The cinematographer, I think, was a standout in this. Larkin Seipel, or whatever his name is. Larkin Seipel. I think he was like the star of this with Julia Gardner. Josh Brolin is already always good in this stuff. And then you had Benedict Wong. I don't know, like, there's a lot to break down in this movie. Should you pay your movie to watch Weapons 2025? Yes. Is the movie good? Yes. But the movie isn't good because it's like conventional. The movie's good because it's abstract, but it also stays in line of our like modern day cinema storytelling. It's like very cohesive. The composition is good and interesting. There's a little bit of like grittiness and a little bit of like dullness. That's like kind of a filter on the movie that kind of makes it interesting. It's a horror movie sometimes when it wants to be, but not a horror movie all the time. The ending and the payoff is good enough. You want it to be better, but it's good enough and it's satisfactory enough where you're like, oh man, I wanted this thing, but this is fine too, you know? It's like, like you get it, someone gives you, here's a brand new car. You run at a Rolls Royce, but you're gonna be fine with the Genesis or the Infinity or whatever it is. You're like, it's still a new car, but a Rolls Royce would have been better, you know. But hey, you know, we can only do what we can do. And again, like, it takes hundreds of people to make movies, and you know, movies don't get made as much as you think because there's like a lot of effort and time goes into it and things like that. So just being grateful for what we have, basically, but also still being critical and able to like assess it for what it is. Yeah, the movie is fantastic in parts. It's mediocre in parts, and it's kind of like confusing and all over the place at parts. Like, there's a lot of parts in this movie where it's like, all right, we're gonna be cohesive, we're gonna make sense. It's like, all right, for the next 20 minutes we're not, and in the next 15 minutes we're gonna make sense. And every one of so the movie's split in like all these like different acts, like 5 acts, with a lead character in each one of them. And they all run way too long. Not way too long, they all run long. You know, I feel like each one of them should have been cut like 5, 10, 20, 15 minutes shorter before they went on to the next one, because it kind of felt repetitive at times. But the ending kind of made you forget that they all kind of ran long and were all kind of like repetitive. Not in the way that it's like this was a different angle of something that already happened. It's just like you guys are kind of shining a light on the same angle of this thing I already watched. You know, give me a different angle, you know? And it's like, oh, it's a different character, but it's kind of the same angle. Give me a different angle. Give me a new kind of perspective on this same thing that you're showing me, so I can have a little bit of intrigue, so I can kind of be interested in it a little bit more. And I felt like that probably was the biggest hurt of this movie, that it kind of ran along, but also it asked all of these questions. You know, the movie's called Weapons. You only see it was AR-15 once, and that's like just basically to say that the time where the kids are taken or whatever, but you don't see guns throughout any time in the movie except for the ending, and it's a pistol. And it's also like a movie that's an allegory kind of for school shootings, right? But they don't like do any preachiness. Like, horror movies are known for being preachy, or to me, horror movies are kind of super preachy. So it's like there's no like teaching. Like, I guess the whole movie is that, but it doesn't really do it specifically. But it has the gun once, and then it uses the gun also to save the day, you know? So it's kind of like hypocritical to, I guess, what it's trying to say. If it's trying to say like you need like gun regulation, things like that, yeah, I get that, but I feel like it was never explicitly said, which hurts the movie as a whole, because it's like what do you want me to get? You know, what are you trying to say here? You know, like kind of be specific on exactly what you're trying to say. Don't just say something and like it be vague or just kind of like a broad term basically, which is kind of feel what the movie did, which kind of hurt a little bit because you wanted a little bit more specific, and you have all this time to make this movie. It was like a 2-hour movie. Like you could have just, you know, just said a couple lines to explain what you wanted basically. So there's that. And then I just feel like the villain's weak, not Marvel weak, but like pretty weak. And I feel like they don't explore or kind of delve deep into the mythos of the movie and things like that. And the movie does that a lot, where like it starts building up this idea, this concept, this kind of mythos, and then it bans it and forgets about it, which is fine because it continues to do that. So you're just kind of like, okay, this is the gimmick, just go with it, you know. So you're kind of going with it. But there are some of like the questions with like what sort of like witchcraft, magic, whatever you want to call it, is like, what's the power source? How does it work? You know, I just want a little bit of details, you know, and it doesn't even try to do that. And then towards the end of the movie, this is a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Dun, dun, spoiler alert. Okay, this is spoiler alert. Towards the end of the movie, it's like, okay, so they were breaking the little twig or branch or whatever like that to get the powers, and then you stab your butt or whatever like that. But it's like, why didn't they just burn the tree? I just kept saying, because they kept like, they did this a lot in the movie where they're showing you shots that they want you to think this way, or they want you to process this way. But it's like, okay, they showed us multiple shots. It's a motion picture and sound show. They showed us multiple shots of them, of this tree that's supposed to be this magic tree or whatever like that. But they never burned the tree. I'm like, the parents are knocking on the door or whatever like that, and I'm like, okay, cool. The kid's just gonna grab a fire and burn the tree. That's it. And then the power's gonna go away. But no, he like breaks it. I guess he poisoned in the toilet maybe, and you don't really get information about that. So like, there's a lot of, but that's a big thing. The whole movie was building to this point. It doesn't make any sense why you don't just burn the tree. Just burn the tree and the power should go away. Because obviously if you're getting one piece, a branch of that, and that gives you all this like black, like rich, evil witchcraft powers, why don't you just burn the tree? It doesn't make any sense, you know? And I get some of the other stuff is supposed to be to just go with it, but it's not just go with it. I watch a 2-hour movie, and then you're showing me this picture of this magical tree, basically this evil like witchcraft magical tree, and you don't burn the tree, you don't destroy the tree, you don't try to cut the tree down, but you go to a little branch. Come on, man, that's a big like plot hole, and also just feels kind of unsatisfactory, you know. And that's kind of just one that's a major thing of the movie, but it does that throughout the movie where it's like, all right, we're gonna do this, but it never kind of delves deep into it, which kind of hurts the movie. But overall, every one of the acts was interesting. They ran long, but they were super interesting. They were super fun. It was just well done, basically, for a horror movie and a thriller, and it's a mystery. So really, it's a mystery and a dash of thriller and a horror movie. But it's a horror movie and gory sometimes, but it's really like a mystery that has these chunks of horror movie throughout to kind of make it pop, to make it interesting. Kind of how like action movies use action to make the movie interesting when they're not doing like kind of that drama, regular dialogue and things like that. That's what this movie does, you know. So it's like kind of it's a mystery movie first, then it's a horror movie sprinkled in to kind of add intrigue. That ending is gnarly with the old lady and they're like ripping her apart and stuff like that. That thing is gnarly. Ugh, it's so gross. And there's a lot of comedy spots in this movie, which again saves the movie as well, because you have all these 5 acts and they're good, but they kind of run long. But then you get these like comedy, like the way one of the mom would, the zombified mom will do something, or the way the drug addict guy will make a joke or something, or like yeah, a lot of just the jokes and the comedy and the style. The delivery was well done. But again, like Larkin Seipel was out the standout. This cinematography was so good. Even for modern day cinematography, that joint was, it was so good. It was so especial. It was just special to this movie. A lot of the like kind of that what's the movie, the Joker's vibe, but it was not as gritty. But it was just like the camera was steady, and the cinematography was really crisp on everything that you wanted to see. So that was a really big plus. It's like, these pictures are so good. I enjoy just looking at these pictures, but they're also moving in a movie kind of thing. So like Larkin Seipel really did clutch. Because if the cinematography was this like not as good, like 25% or like 50% less good, this movie definitely goes down. But the cinematography is so interesting. You're just kind of there and enjoying the ride. Julie Gardner, her in Ozarks, amazing. She's awesome. Her in this, amazing. She's awesome. Her in Fantastic Four, solid. Just really good. She's, you know, she has star power, and she has that like kind of like pull up, like this, not underdog power, kind of power energy. She just has this really like that uppercut type of like coming up from the bottom, kind of just like, she has grit, but it's just like moxie. She has a lot of moxie that she presents in this kind of feminine, nuanced way, but also like a little bit masculine too, where she does it, and she just knows timing. She knows how to like basically act, and she also is really good at being that Tom Hanks every man's type of person, and that's what kind of Julie Gardner is. She's an every human's type of person, and that's what makes her really interesting. She really is like kind of like more of a grittier, more of a Tom Hanks with moxie, basically. But you know, she's like, you know, she has all of her like a completely different person. She has everything that Julie Gardner is, and yeah, just outstanding. Josh Brolin, always so solid. His voice is also militaristic and so intense. And then Benedict Wong, solid. He was really, really good in this. Better in this than I've seen him in Doctor Strange and all that stuff. Yeah, and he really helped like kind of hold the movie together as this kind of nerdier, geekier teacher and things like that. So that was really fun. Yeah, like every one of his scenes was like very interesting, and like this movie did a lot without doing too much. It just kind of stayed like happy-go-lucky, but still a mystery, but still a horror movie, but still like, you know, still like serious, you know. And it's just like a really funny, serious movie that like doesn't take itself seriously, but is serious the whole time and has fun. Like again, like the best movies have fun. This movie has fun. It's just a joy to watch, basically, because you know, like even when it has like one of the 5 acts go long, it will say something funny, and I'm like, okay, I don't care. Next act, and then this act will have all this amazing cinematography. So like the kind of plot holes that are there, okay, you know. So and that's the whole movie. And you know, you walk away happy, you walk away fun, and it still does get its message across about just the allegory for school shooting. Not really, but enough, you know. And that's kind of what this movie is. It's like it kind of is enough of a good movie to be a good movie, and it has a lot of elements to keep you interested in. Yeah. So like I guess the director Zach Krieger, he did a good job. Yeah, I mean, the directing is good, but I think the cinematography is really what takes it home. And Zach Krieger also wrote the screenplay. So, again, really good, but I think the actors, like, showed up. I think the cinematography showed up, and Zach Krieger did enough, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is an enjoyable movie. I feel like this is a movie you'll watch a couple times in the theater. You should watch it. It is fun. And, you know, we don't get a million movies. And this is a movie that comes out that's good, you know. It's fun. It's a fun movie that does have a scale to it. Not in a spectacle, not like in a Dune sense, but it does have like a scale to it. That's just like, it's not like an indie movie. It's an indie movie that has more like, this is a grand thing. This is a grand thing. Even when the drug addict kind of loserish kind of guys is kind of doing his thing, it feels bigger. It feels like something important, you know, and grandiose. Yeah, that's definitely an aspect of this movie too. It feels grandiose for being an indie movie, and that again makes you more interested in, because you can, and that's a cinematography, the chops of the cinematography Larkin Seiple, to make you kind of look around and be like, wow, you know, this is just a house, or this is just a building, or this is just a gas station, or whatever it is. But you know, you're looking around like, yo, this is nice, you know. And yeah, so shout out Larkin Seiple, shout out good Julie Gardner, Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, Zach Krieger, the director, and everyone else part of the movie. And you know, yeah, it's just a really good time. you know. And I'm glad there's like a lot of people in the theater to go watch it. I think it opened with like $42 million or whatever like that. So yeah, I know this movie. I want a sequel where it goes above, where it's not just like, okay, this is ground level, and I want a sequel where there's like bigger like action set pieces, I guess, or I just want more mythology of the witchcraft magic-y that's going on, but I also want more stakes. I want Julie Gardner still there, but I want it to maybe a bit more, just like more, like I feel like there's just such a lot of like grandiosity in this movie. I want to see him put more stuff in the movie to have it more interesting, because I feel like a sequel would be fun, but I don't want it as a grounded storytelling. I think they have all the equipment and capabilities to make this movie kind of stand out and kind of be funner and bigger and more, maybe not more actiony and Hollywoody, but just, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot they can do with this world, and I feel like I definitely want to explore it and revisit it and have more fun with it, because, you know, like I feel like everything worked, you know, and it was a good time. So it's like I want to see them do kind of more, or just another sequel. It would be interesting just to see what happens, you know. And yeah, really that mythology, you want to explore more of that mythology, and see all the good actors back on screen. Yeah, opens.